My name is Daniel, and 3 months ago I died. Not for long, maybe 4 minutes, but long enough for everything to change. I was born with a failing heart. My whole life was hospitals, medication, shortness of breath, and fear. By the time I reached my early 30s, my heart was functioning at barely 10%. Doctors told me if I didn't get a transplant soon, I would make it. Then, out of nowhere, a miracle came, a perfect match. A heart that arrived just in time. It saved my life, but I'm starting to realize it also took something from me and replaced it with something I didn't recognize. I don't remember much after that night, just flashes, white lights, mask over my face, voices shouting numbers, my own heartbeat, slowing until it stopped completely. The next thing I knew, I was awake in recovery. My body ached, but I was alive. Everyone celebrating. My mother cried. My doctor squeezed my shoulders. "You're very lucky," he said. "Most people wait years for a heart like this." "But who did it come from?" I asked. His face changed. He looked away. "We're not allowed to discuss that." That was the first red flag, but I was too grateful to care, at first. 2 days after surgery, I woke up ravenous, not for food, not for water, for violence. The craving hit me like a wave, sudden, hot, metallic. I looked at the nurse adjusting my IV, and for a split second imagined grabbing her pin and driving it into her neck. The thought scared me so much I jerked back, almost ripping out my stitches. What was wrong with me? I've never had violent impulses before, not even in childhood. But after the transplant, my mind was flooded with them. Thoughts that weren't mine, images that felt like memories, but not from my life. A church basement, a dirt road at night, a woman running barefoot, my hands, reaching out to grab her. I tried to tell myself it was just trauma, the anesthesia, the recovery. But things only got worse. By week 2, I couldn't sleep. My new heart pounded constantly, like it was trying to speak to me, or escape my chest. I felt it beating at nighttime, echoing in my throat, in my skull, urging me to get up, to go outside, to hunt. My mother visited one evening and brought me soup. She sat across from me, smiling, talking about how bright my future looked now. I stared at her arms, her throat, her pulse. I forced myself to look away, pretending I was wiping my face. I was terrified of myself. It wasn't me. It was the heart. It had to be. So I hired someone online, a medical record specialist, to help me track down unofficial information about my donor. 3 days later, he called me in a whisper. "Daniel, I think you need to sit down." My donor had been a man named Eric Mallory, age 42, a serial offender convicted twice, suspected on 6 more disappearances, unalived in prison after a violent altercation. My stomach twist, bile rising in my throat. I had the heart of a predator beating inside of me, a heart that remembered, a heart that wanted to finish what it started. One night, I woke up standing, not lying down, not sitting, standing outside, barefoot in the dark, cold street. I had no memories of leaving the house. My hands were muddy, my feet were bleeding, and in the distance, maybe 100 feet away, a woman running. She looked terrified. I blinked, and suddenly I was back in my bed, drenched in sweat. But the mud was still under my nails, the blood still on my soles. Had I sleepwalked? Had I chased someone? Had I hurt someone? I checked the local news the next day. A woman a few blocks away reported a man lurking outside her home at 3 a.m. She gave a description. It was me. I don't know how long I can hold myself back. The impulses are getting stronger. Sometimes I swear I can hear it in my heart speaking to me, not in words, but in urges and instincts. It beats faster when I pass strangers. It pounds harder around fear, like it's hungry. My doctor says trauma or surgery can create personality changes, but this is not trauma. This is possession. I don't think I got a heart transplant. I think I inherited a curse. And I don't know how much longer Daniel, the real Daniel, will still stay in control. So if you ever walk alone at night and you hear footsteps behind you and your instinct tell you to run, listen, because someone out there has a new heart, a dangerous one, a hungry one, and is beating inside a man who's losing himself day by day. If you see me, let's not meet. Oof. This was a bizarre story. When I read it, all I can think about is now I do hear stories about people who get transplants, like eye transplant, heart, they will tell you, "Oh, I can feel I feel different," or they can, they feel connected to the person who donated the heart, the eye, whatever the case may be. They feel connected to them, and that is the reason why sometimes the family will stay connected, right? Which is a good thing. But I always wonder, if, for example, someone has like an eye, can you see what the person before you used to see? You know what I mean? And or can you feel if you got like maybe a lung or a heart? Do you love differently? Do you love like the person who donated the heart to you? Or do you still feel the same way that you felt before you received a stranger's heart? And it's an amazing thing that, we have the technology nowadays that you can transfer someone else's heart into another person. But I always wonder if something like this has ever happened. So I don't know for sure if this is a real story, but it definitely gave me chills when I read the story, because I've always wondered whether or not when you receive a part of somebody else's body, in like surgery because you need a transplant, do you feel that person? Do you feel different? I do wonder. And you guys let me know if you know anyone who ever got a transplant. God forbid you ever need to get a transplant, right? I do wonder if you feel different after the transplant, if you feel like that person, if you feel them inside of you, if you crave the food. I remember I was reading the story of this one lady who basically got a heart transplant, and she started craving chicken nuggets, and she used to be a vegetarian, which is very, very interesting that she would crave chicken nuggets after the heart that she got, from somebody else, which lets me know, the person, whatever they loved. Well, imagine though if that person had like a husband and all of a sudden you start falling in love with that person's husband. That's crazy. That would be crazy. Let me know what you guys think about this story, because I thought it was very interesting. That's why I brought it to you guys. Let me know. Talk to you guys later. Love you guys. Bye.